Hi Cliff fans and welcome to another one of my 5 minute Cliff album reviews, and today I'm going to review Cliff's latest Christmas album, Christmas with Cliff. And yeah, a very exciting Christmas album released by Cliff on the 25th of November. But yeah, I pre-ordered this back in, I think it was either late September or early October, but I only actually received it a couple of days ago. It took so long for it to arrive. I don't know what was wrong with the post, and then it ended up in, I had to pay a customs fee as well, and so it was a complete disaster. And I only actually got this album a couple of days ago, but thanks to Spotify, I'd already listened to the album a couple of hundred times before I actually got the physical copy of it. But I'm just delighted to get this, and a signed card as well. It was included with this by Cliff. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, the album is currently number 2 in the album chart in the UK as well, just behind Stormzy, as we all know from recent media and interviews, and it's been in the news as well that Cliff was in a battle with Stormzy for the Christmas album number 1. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be. Cliff got to number 2, but it's still pretty cool that an 82-year-old would just be beaten off the top spot by this, apparently this century's biggest selling artist, Stormzy. Now, I wouldn't know any Stormzy songs. I don't know, even does he even sing songs? Is it just, I don't know anything about Stormzy. But doesn't matter. The fact that Cliff has only been beaten by this century's biggest selling artist, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, this is a Christmas album, so I believe this album is going to keep on selling throughout the years. Every year, this album I think will sell. Probably won't sell as big as this year, but with all Christmas albums, I mean, Cliff could add a couple of songs to it next year, the year after, release a deluxe version, and it'll sell all over again. And this it'll keep on selling throughout the years, I'm sure. Yeah, so what a fantastic album. I'll go through some of the songs now. As well, it was reported that this is Cliff's first Christmas album in 19 years. But I was just thinking it's pretty much his first ever Christmas album of all brand new material. Because even like 1991's Together with Cliff Richard included singles like Little Town, Mistletoe and Wine, Saviour's Day. They'd all been previously released. And then Cliff at Christmas back in 2003 included some songs from the Together with Cliff, Together with Cliff Richard, and it included the singles again, Mistletoe and Wine, Little Down, We Should Be Together. Yeah, so like I think this, yeah, it is Cliff's. It's his first brand new Christmas album of all brand new material. So yeah, it's just an absolutely fantastic album. I absolutely love it. I love every single song. A couple of fans were saying that Cliff's voice is a little bit strained on it. He's 82, for God's sake. His voice is not going to sound like it did on Always Guaranteed or I'm No Hero or one of them albums. It's going to sound a little bit older, and that's okay. That's absolutely fantastic. I just really enjoy the fact that Cliff is still with us in a big way. He's still recording, he's still releasing material, and I think Cliff's voice sounds pretty good on this album. Especially on some of the tracks, it actually sounds fantastic. It sounds as good as it ever did. I agree that in a couple of songs his voice does sound a little bit strange, but that's okay. That's fine. Like, he's still recording, so that's all I care about. Anyway, I'll go through some of the songs. It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year opens the album. Beautiful Christmas song. It was one of my favourite Christmas songs by Andy Williams. Absolutely love it. Cliff puts his own kind of rock and roll kind of vibe to it. He actually used 2 producers on this album, as he said in recent interviews. He used a rock and roll producer and a string producer. I don't know which producer produced this song, but yeah, I like this version. I think it's kind of like a little rocky version of it. It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Fantastic. Then Sleigh Ride, which is very popular with the fans. It was the first one we got as a kind of introduction to this album. It was released on YouTube and Spotify, and you could download it a good while before the album was released. Yeah, just really fun track. Sleigh Ride, absolutely love it. First Christmas follows, the first of the original songs, and this one's written by Simon Goddard, which is he's one of my Facebook friends, and he goes around doing shows. As he does a Cliff Richard songbook, he goes around, but he's written a couple of fantastic songs. A good few. And it's like I've listened to some of Simon's original material, and I've always wondered, like, oh, I wonder what Cliff would actually sound like singing this one and that one and all, because he obviously Simon has a contact to get the songs to Cliff, but yeah, because but yeah, I love this one. This one's called First Christmas, and it's a beautiful song. I absolutely love the chorus. Probably more so than the melody. I love the chorus. It's a really strong melody, chorus. And yeah, I slightly prefer another Christmas song that Simon wrote a few years ago. I think it was on the B-side or the bonus track of Santa's List. It's called It's a Boy, and that was absolutely beautiful. I think I slightly prefer it to this, but I absolutely love First Christmas as well. Well done, Simon. Follows Joy to the World, which is one of the songs that Cliff's voice sounds a little bit strained according to some fans. Yeah, it does kind of on the start of the track, but I still absolutely love it. I love it when it kicks in, it gets a bit more up tempo. I love that bit when it comes in. Follows Jingle Bell Rock, which was one of the songs I really was looking forward to hearing when I heard about this album, because it's one of my favourite Christmas songs. I've obviously been a rock and roll fan, and I absolutely love Christmas. I love rock and roll. So yeah, Jingle Bell Rock. There's not too many rock and roll Christmas songs, and when Cliff released his fabulous rock and roll albums, I always said it would have been great if he had put a little EP as a bonus of a couple of rock and roll Christmas songs, and I suggested this one, Jingle Bell Rock. Yeah, so this isn't a really it's not really a rock and roll version of it, but it's a great up tempo version. I absolutely love it. It's kind of more modern than a kind of rock and roll feel to it. The next one is just absolutely fantastic. It's another one that I suggested for that fabulous rock and roll Christmas album or EP that I said never happened. Blue Christmas, and it was originally recorded by Elvis, of course, and it's one of my favorite Elvis Christmas songs. One of my favorite Christmas songs of all time, and it's one of the more rockier ones on the album. I love the backing vocals. I love the guitars on it. I must have to look through the notes to see who actually played guitar on it, because it absolutely sounds fantastic. Actually sounds a bit like Duane Eddy, so I wouldn't be in shock if it was Duane Eddy, because then Duane Eddy has performed with Cliff on trying a song years ago called For Life. He actually played guitar on that as well. So I'm sure it's not Duane Eddy, but it does have a Duane Eddy feel to it. Anyway, follows When a Child is Born, which Cliff recorded on the Cliff at Christmas album back in 2003, and this is a much different version. This is more in the style of the original by Johnny Mathis, and it's just a beautiful version of When a Child is Born, another one of my favourite Christmas songs of all time. And follows of all the covers on the album, I think this is my absolute favourite, if not my favourite of the whole album, and it's Mary Did You Know. Just an absolutely beautiful song. Cliff sounds absolutely amazing on it. I love I love the backing track. I love the Cliff does a lot of his own backing vocals, which I absolutely love, and his own backing vocals sound absolutely fantastic on this. But the song itself, Cliff has said in interviews that it's a very emotional song, and it's the one he's most enjoyed singing. And I have to agree, because the minute I heard this song, I actually wanted to sit down, learn the chords, and actually sing it myself. So I do have a version of this song on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. It's nowhere near as good as Cliff's, I'll just warn you. But I just wanted to sing this song so badly the minute I heard it, Cliff singing it. It's just an absolutely beautiful song, Mary Did You Know. Follows the highlight of the album for a lot of fans, the new single Heart of Christmas. Just an absolutely incredible Christmas song. If this had been released, I'd say about 10-20 years ago, this would have been a big hit, before downloads, this would have been a huge hit. This definitely would have made top five, if not the Christmas number one. Just an absolutely incredible Christmas song. It seems a little bit unfair that Cliff loses out to downloads all the time, because Cliff fans don't really tend to download. But Hard to Christmas, just, yeah, as I say, it was 20 years ago. This would have been definitely top five anyway, not number one. Follows Go Tell It on the Mountain, which is one of them gospel anthem songs, and yeah, just an incredible song, love it. Follows Oh Come All Ye Faithful, which Cliff again recorded back in 1991 on the Together with Cliff Richard album, and a totally different version he did. This is more true to the original style again, like When a Child is Born. He went for the original style of Oh Come All Ye Faithful. I think it's one of them goosebumps moments of the album. Just a stunning version by Cliff. Follows the rockiest song on the album, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. What a fun track. I love the fact that it's at the end of the album as well. Just fantastic. I absolutely love it. There's a full video of Cliff singing it on his official YouTube channel, which you should check out. He looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, absolutely fantastic. And the album closes with 6 days after Christmas, Happy New Year, and this is absolutely beautiful. The three new songs are just so fantastic on this album. This is, I think, after Hard Christmas, 6 days after Christmas. What a beautiful song, and it's one looking at the past and looking at the future, which I absolutely love songs like that, and we're kind of reflecting and having some hope for the future as well. And it's just a beautiful song, and it's another one that, like, just a goosebump song. So overall, no surprises. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. Absolutely fantastic album. Have it playing in the car non-stop now that I finally got my physical CD. Yeah, so I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the section below on Christmas with Cliff.